don't know how I feel about this morning's sighting. Something just doesn't quite sit so well with me. We moved into the area to help Barry try and find the Nkoveni female and her 3 cubs. He had tracks of the little family moving away from where they'd been spending the last couple of days feeding on a carcass. And when he looped around, he found the little family of 4 walking straight up the road, and we then arrived just in time to have an incredible view of them all walking straight towards us. She seemed to be leading them away from the site of the carcass towards an area where she's kept these cubs quite frequently at sort of temporary dens when she goes off on territorial patrols and hunts. There's the one particular spot there with a big fallen tamboti tree where the cubs have been spending a lot of time playing around there. We've had a few epic scenes or sightings of them on that tamboti tree, climbing up into a scotia that's got a hole and one of the cubs resting in there. Whenever we viewed them without the mother at that den site, we don't stick around for too long. We just get a quick little view and then leave them. We don't want to put any unnecessary pressure on the cubs without their mother around. She then was walking straight in that direction, but there was a herd of impala up beyond, and so she decided to then duck through the drainage line onto the other side to avoid the attention that the impala herd would bring if they were to see the leopards. They then settled down and were milling about there playing, and there was just a phenomenal scene of the cubs just darting back and forth and playing and tackling each other, wrestling, stalking. And this is all in an attempt to hone and develop their skills that are vital for later on in life. They'll learn a fair amount from their mother, but a lot of it is just through a bit of practice and playtime with each other. And so that's the joys of having a litter of 2 or 3. There's a sibling, or there's always a sibling around to play with. And now at the age of just shy of 4 months, these cubs are really in an extremely playful mood the whole time. But whenever they got a little bit too aggressive with each other and started to growl or make too much noise, the mother would come running across, which we saw, because she doesn't want them to make too much noise, because that could then draw in any unwanted attention from other predators that could be close by. So she hushes them and then they carry on playing. Now, my discomfort or dis-ease about this is we had some very high hopes that the Nkoveni female would raise these 3 cubs to independence and be the second known female in the Sabi Sands, or at least that I know of, to raise 3 cubs to independence. The first was the Manyeleti female, who raised the Nanga female, the Nyeleti male, and their brother, who dispersed into the Kruger and wasn't seen again. But all 3 of them made it to independence as an intact litter, which is an incredible feat. And so we know the journey's not over for the Nkoveni female and her 3 cubs. There's a lot of trials and tribulations and challenges ahead in their journey to independence. But about 5 days ago, some of the rangers found the Nkoveni female and her 3 cubs feeding on a scrub hare carcass. And it was at that point that the one cub seemed to have an issue with its jaw. The rangers weren't too sure if it had a shard of bone stuck in the jaw or a tooth, or there was a bit of infection or something. But basically its jaw was very swollen and it was hanging down. Over the last few days, the rangers have seen this cub without the condition improving. And so this morning, I've now come across to have a look particularly at that cub to see how it looks. And it doesn't look too promising, in that in my opinion, it appears as though that jaw is dislocated, and I have absolutely no idea how that would happen. But maybe by being a young cub, the bones aren't fully fused and were somewhat fragile, and maybe it fell out of a tree or ran into a branch or something that could have dislocated its jaw. And unless a miracle happens, it's highly unlikely that that would rectify itself. Sadly as well, this is a situation where we are unlikely to intervene or get involved, because firstly, how do we separate the one cub away from the others and the mother without drawing in any attention from the mother? It probably needs surgery or something pretty extensive in order to fix it or help fix it. And that would require it taking it off-site to get sorted out somewhere else. And then what do we do after that? We can't really reintroduce it back to its mother and siblings, because it's going to take a long time for that jaw to heal. So it's just not a practical way forward. And also, the sad reality is that leopard mothers lose cubs fairly often. And so why do we choose to intervene with this cub and not others? And the chances of survival after intervening are still very low, so it's just not worth our while. But anyways, let's not go down that route. It's been a virtual safari this morning that's riddled with mixed emotions of elation watching a mother and her cubs moving around and playing, but also heartbreak in that this cub, the chances of its survival are very, very slim, unless a miracle happens, which we're not counting that out just yet. And we'll definitely try and keep a close eye on it in the future, and we'll just see what happens. But I hope you've somewhat enjoyed this virtual safari. So if you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll keep you in the loop of exactly what happens going forward with this cub. Drop a comment below, let us know what you've enjoyed, or just tell us how you feel. And we'll see you all again next week, but thanks for watching.